So there's always a question that we're not ready for, and it's, why do you believe in God? Or why do you believe in the Bible? Well, why don't you believe in God? What's wrong with you? 'Cause I like him. God is like cool. 'Cause my parents told me to. 'Cause my friends are there. Without God, your life is nothing. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Espresso with Sky, giving you a fresh perspective on faith, life, God, and the Bible. I am Pastor Sky, and over here are my two sidekicks, Chewy and John Wick. Now, if you haven't done so, go ahead, hit all those crazy buttons, but the most important thing is leave a comment below because I'd love to hear your honest opinion on today's topic. Of course, if you want to support this ministry, we have PayPal and buymeacoffee.com. So let's get into it. So billions of people in the world have faith, believe in God and the Bible. And for every person, there's a different reason why they started to believe. For one person, scientific. To another, it's more emotional or feeling. To another, it's reason and logic. And some people just believe because God really helped them out in a difficult time in their life. Now, what I'm going to go over today is 5 different reasons why I believe in God and why I believe in the Bible. And I hope it helps you guys out too. And of course, I don't use this on every single person. It really depends on who I'm talking to. All right? So let's get into these 5 different reasons. The first reason we're going to look at is the mystery of how the Bible came to be. Now, the Bible is written over a span of 1,500 years, and I want you to memorize 3 numbers: 40, 20, 10. There were 40 different authors from 20 different professions coming from 10 different countries. And even if you look at the professions, guys, these professions are anywhere from great kings down to lowly shepherds. Now, here's the thing that's so amazing. None of them knew what the other people were writing. Everyone said God was speaking to them, but when you look at the contents of all the authors, they are pointing to the same God and talking about the exact same thing. So it's amazing, like when you look at some of the prophecies, you have different people from different countries, different professions, all talking to the same God, and they even talk about the exact same prophecy. So when you think about this, it's like, no, this cannot just be coincidence. When you look at this in a reasonable way, it's not just coincidence. It's something you look and say, wow, okay, that's something that's really amazing. So let me give an example of how amazing it is and how much you would think it's true too. So let's just give an example of, let's say you're an American, let's just say, and all of a sudden, someone stops you in the middle of the street and they say to you, hey, God just told me to talk to you, and he says you're going to be president of the United States. Now, if you heard that, what would you think? Would you believe? And the answer would be like, ha, 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 whatever, right? So then you take a trip to France. And when you're in France, guess what happens? Someone stops you in the middle of the street and says, hello, are you Sky? I'm like, yes. Oh, I don't sound French, by the way. And he says, God told me you're going to be president of the United States. Now, you'd be like, wow, that's so weird because someone said that in America. Then you go over to Australia. In Australia, someone does the same thing. Now, if every country go to, let's just say 10 different countries, and people stop you in the middle of the street and start telling you, God told me to tell you you're going to be president of the United States, would you start to believe? And the answer is, you'd be like, okay, this is freaky. This is scary. How could they, are they all talking to each other? Is this some type of prank that's happening to me? No. In the same way, just like the Bible, 40 different authors from 20 different professions, 10 different countries, written over 1,500 years, and none of them were collaborating with each other. And this is why it's such an amazing mystery, just the Bible itself and how it was formed. And that is the first reason. The second reason is why I believe that we were created and not just randomly popping up out of nowhere. We have a creator, and the reason is we have design. Now, I'm not going to go into intelligent design of like biology and physics and even like chemistry or whatever it is. I'm going to talk something at the basic and simple level because this is something that really inspired me. I don't know, it's not going to inspire everyone, but this really inspired me. When you look at the human body, the one thing you know is we were created with one number in mind. What number is that? The number 6. And you're like, how so, Pastor Sky? Easy. Look at your body. You have one big part in the middle, the body, right? And how many parts sticking out? You have 5. 1 head, 2 arms, 2 legs. 1 plus 5. That's 6, right? Now at the end of your hand, what do you have? One big part with 5 parts sticking out. 1 plus 5. That is 6, and that's on both hands. What about your feet? Same thing. You have the big foot with 5 toes sticking out. 1 plus 5, and that equals 6. What about your head? Does your head have 1 plus 5? And the answer is absolutely. You have the one big piece, and then what do you have next? You have 5 holes. 5 holes, 2 in the ears, 2 in the nose, and 1 in the mouth. And if anyone asks about the eyes, they're covered. They're not holes. 1 plus 5. Even look at the rib cage. The rib cage is protecting the 5 vital organs, the 2 kidneys, the 2 lungs, and the 1 heart. 1 plus 5. When you look at the way God has created and designed the body, it was created with the number 6 in mind. And the thing that's kind of even more amazing is, human beings were created on the 6th day. The symbolic number of human beings is 6. So when you look at this, I'm like, wow, that is so amazing. We are designed. We're not randomly like 2 fingers here, 14 here, 27 down toes over here, and then another 13 toes over here, and like 57 holes on my face. It's not like that. Every human being were created with the same design with the number 6. And for me, that was something I'm like, man, that is a design at the most simplistic level. Yes, there are scientists out there that can tell us way bigger things, and I will listen because those are amazing too, but there's something that's not on my level, right? Something I'd have to study for a long time, but that is something that I look at and say, wow, human beings are really designed. At the most simple level, we're designed with the number 6 as we were born or created on the 6th day. So that is the second reason. Now, the third, fourth, and fifth reason, they are all personal. And this is about your stories with God. And this is something that you have to think about all the different things that happen in your life. The third one is just testimony. What do you mean by testimony? Yeah, how did you come to God? How did you come to Christ? How were you saved? This is your personal story that you can tell what you felt, what you were going through, and how God saved you. And this is something that no one can take away from you. It is your story, and no one can say it's false because it's about you and God. And I'm going to tell you this. Some people might say, I don't have a very good testimony. I'm telling you right now it's because you don't say it enough. You got to tell your testimony over and over. Share with your friends your testimony. Go to church and tell your testimony to people you never met before. Why? The more you tell it, the better you get at it. And when you get better at telling your testimony, you begin to feel it. And when you begin to feel it, the person listening begins to feel it too. So I'm telling you guys, say your testimony over and over and over again, and you're going to start feeling it again too. Now, not just testimonies, I also talk about miracles that God's done in my life, right? There's tons of miracles. I'll talk about when I was healed of a broken bone once, or another time when I healed someone else by praying in Jesus' name. Like, there's so many different things I can say. I have these testimonies, and that's why I believe. That's why I believe God is there. Because when I talk and I say, God heal, He heals. Now that leads me to the fourth one. And the fourth reason is I'll talk about and I'll testify about the Bible itself. Now, what does that mean? Well, one of the things, like, why would I read the Bible? And I tell people straight up, if you read the Bible well, if you learn it and understand, the Bible is so powerful. Why? It teaches you the purpose of why you're here. What's the purpose? Everyone asks that question. Why am I living? Why am I here? Everyone wants to know. But I'll tell people, yeah, I know. Because when I read the Bible, I get the answers. Not only do I get the answer of what's the purpose of living, but I also learn about how to live. And I'll testify about what? I'll testify about when I'm praying, I'm going through a problem, and then the Bible gives me an answer. And I'm like, wow, is that it? And when I actually put the words into action, it works. And I really think that this is a good philosophy, especially people of faith should have, is we need to prove to the world that the words of God are true and they will solve every answer. That's the type of attitude we need to show people. Like, yo, you want to know? This Bible is that good. Why? Because when you do it, it actually works. That's number 4. Last but not least, and this is a very interesting one, number 5, and this is something that everyone goes through, and I'm going to say it has to do with connection and feeling. And that's real too. Don't let people say that, oh, it's just a feeling. No, it's true. It could just be a feeling, but no. When you talk about the connection you feel when you pray, the connection you feel, right? that feeling you have when you were first saved, that feeling you have when you're praising God, right? This is also another type of testimony that's really good, because sometimes people feel empty. Sometimes people are in that zone where they're lonely, but you're like, no, when I pray, I'm not lonely. I feel God is with me. Some people are looking for that too. Now, when you look at all of these 5 different reasons, yeah, they're all different. Why? Because everyone's looking for different reasons. And when they talk to you, the most important thing is it your reason? Like, do you feel it? Because people want to see that when you have faith, that you are so convicted and sincere that you're telling them, this is true. This is what I felt, and I want you to feel it too. And the people be like, whoa, you know what? If you're that convicted and you're that sincere, wow, I can try this out. People can tell when people are honest and sincere. And they can tell when they're just trying to like throw statistics or biology and stuff that you don't even really know, you just read off the internet. People can tell. Because when you just throw information, what's it about? It's just like, I know more than you. Well, you don't know this and this. But when you tell testimony and when you talk about things that this is why I believe. This is why I believe in God in the Bible. People understand, and we are social beings that we can feel it too, the sincerity and honesty. So I would say these are good 5 different reasons and 5 different ways you could explain to people about your faith in the Bible and your faith in God. Some of them is scientific, some of them is reason and logic, and some of them are testimonies, experiences, and feelings. And everyone needs all different parts of these. Now, one last thing I want to tell you is this. Don't let people bully you. What does that mean? It means like if they say to you, well, I'm a scientist, tell me something scientific. And the answer is, if you don't have one, you don't have one. But don't let them bully you in, well, if you don't have a scientific reason, then you have blind faith. And the answer is no. Why? Because everyone is in a different part of their journey in faith. Some people just started. Imagine you're 12 years old. Do you think a scientist is going to ask them for scientific reasoning why you believe in God? 12-year-old has no reason why. But what if someone else is in business? They can tell you business reasons, things that they went through during their business. Scientists will tell you in the scientific way, right? Philosophers will tell you through philosophy. Psychologists will tell you through psychology. You just need to know your path, your way. And if you can't tell it, it's okay. There are so many believers in the world now that there are believers for every type of person out there. If you can't give them, just tell them your testimony, tell them what you're convicted by, and that's enough. If they're not convinced, it's okay. There are other people out there in the super triple PhD astrophysics, those areas. There are people there that will testify in that area. You don't have to. If you can't, you can't, and that's okay. It's okay. Everyone in their path and their journey with God is in a different place. Some people learn a little bit more, some people learn a little bit less. They're just beginning. Some people are advanced because they've been in the faith for such a long time. So if anything else, focus on what convicts you, why you believe and why you have faith, all right? So thank you so much for joining us here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your honest opinion and if this helped at all or not, all right? Everyone have a wonderful week. This is Pastor Sky over here, my 2 sidekicks. See you guys again. Bye-bye.